Hey guys, Justin here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a closer look at this 24-piece performance ignition kit fitting all 2009 to 2019 5.7 Hemis. Now this is going to be an affordable performance solution to help clear up any issues caused by a faulty or failed factory coil or set of plugs. Now this kit here will include the 16 plugs in addition to the 8 coils featuring the red finish along with the factory style connectors, and will be had all for right around that high $300 price point. All right guys, so moving into our features block, and I do want to stress the fact that these coils will be a mild upgrade over maybe a slightly more affordable, more basic OE equivalent or factory replacement kit. Now this kit again is designed to replace a set of faulty coils and plugs affordably while providing roughly 15% more energy over a factory replacement kit. Now with that being said, the 24-piece ignition kit here will help smooth out your Hemi's rough idle and revs, and maybe even clear up any high RPM misfires, and even in some cases improve some fuel economy depending on just how bad a shape your factory coils and plugs were in. Again, another big feature here, just a turnkey kit when it comes to coils and plugs, so if you're having some of those issues we've talked about, a rough running Hemi, stumbling, things like that, this is certainly going to be a great way to hopefully clear that up for you. Now there's a lot of good customer reviews here guys, definitely backing up what we're talking about, cleaning up some rough idles, improving some fuel economy, and again this is straight from the 5.7 customer review section. So definitely check those out if you haven't done so already. Now moving into construction, and since we've got two parts to talk about here, let's first start off with the coils. Now these are built to factory specifications, but with a slightly higher output, again 15% according to the manufacturer, thanks to enhanced winding and increased output. Now these also still include the factory style wire connector here, in addition to the 2 boots per coil with the OE style bodies. However, one big difference here with these guys is that bright red top here definitely gives these more of a pop under the hood, and one that might flow well with other red parts you may have already added. Now there are also 16 spark plugs included with this kit here guys. They do also feature the factory style design. They are pre-gapped to the OE specs, which is pretty nice, and they are ready for install right out of the box. Now moving into price point, and these coils and plugs coming in right around that high $300 price point, certainly going to be relatively affordable when compared to other big name performance ignition setups here from companies like MSD, or maybe some other bigger names that we feature for your Hemi. Now if you did want to step into a bigger brand name option from a company like MSD, we're going to be looking at maybe a couple $100 on top of the $300 here that we're looking at for this kit, and that doesn't even include a brand new set of plugs. So again, if you're looking for maybe a slight bump in performance out of your ignition system, but at a relatively budget-friendly price point, this is certainly a kit worth considering. All right guys, now let's shift gears. Let's talk about the install, and honestly this one's going to be extremely straightforward thanks to the simple plug and play swap of not only the plugs themselves but also the coils. Site's going to go soft 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter here, taking you about 3 hours to complete from start to finish, just because on these Hemis you got 16 plugs to tackle. It is just a little bit more of an intense job compared to other V8s out there. Nevertheless, definitely a very easy job for you. Now to give you a better idea of just how this one might go down in the garage or driveway at home, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
Tools required for this install include an electric and hand ratchet, a 10mm swivel socket, a 5/8 inch spark plug socket, a flathead screwdriver, a couple 3-inch extensions, feeler gauges, a spark plug gap tool, and a torque wrench. What's up guys? Today we're installing an ignition kit on our Challenger, so let's get started. Now the first thing we need to do to get access to our coil packs is to remove our engine cover. We've just got a couple studs with grommets that are holding this on. So you can just grab it and pull straight up to pop it off those studs and remove it. So now we're gonna remove all 8 of our coil packs. We're not gonna remove our spark plugs yet. We're gonna let them stay in there until we have our new spark plugs gapped and they're ready to go in. We're gonna do the spark plugs one at a time, pull it out, put the new one in. That way we don't have 16 holes into our engine open where stuff can get into our cylinders. So we're gonna take a flathead screwdriver and pry up on this red locking tab on the connector. And then at the bottom of the center black piece, you can push in with that flathead screwdriver to release the clip and pop your connector off. Once you have that removed, you can take a 10mm socket to remove the 2 bolts on each coil pack. I'm using a swivel socket here since it's a little tight on some of these. It just gives me a little bit more room to maneuver. And then you can pull back on the coil pack to pop it off the spark plugs. And then we're just gonna kind of move the dipstick handle out of the way and fish that out. And then you're gonna do that same exact thing for your other 7 coil packs. So now we need to gap our spark plugs. Now the spec for the Hemi Challenger is gonna be 0.043 inches, or if you're using metric, it would be 1.1 millimeters. Now there's a few different tools you can use for this. I would say the most common would be this coin. It's got an edge that gets bigger as you go across. It's got all the lines telling you what measurement you have, and you're just gonna run it across here until you feel some resistance, and that's gonna be the gap. Now, you can also use feeler gauges. I like to use these to double check the coin, make sure they're both reading the same measurement before I put these in. So now we can grab our spark plug. We're gonna pull off the protective cap, and then right in between our electrode and our outer piece, we're gonna slide that onto the coin, and then you're just gonna rotate this around until you feel it start to grab a little bit. And that's grabbing on right around that 0.043 mark. So then I'm just gonna take my feeler gauge, just double check the coin. I've got a 0.04 here and a 0.003. This is gonna add up to that 0.043. So you're just gonna press them nice and tight together and just run it in and out. And I'm feeling a little resistance on there, so that means our gap is good. Now, if you need to open the gap, you're gonna take your coin right on that circle there. You're gonna put the tip, and then you're gonna pry back, and that would open it up. Now, if you need to close it, you could just press down on the coin, or they do make a tool for that, where you can just drop your spark plug in here, and then you'll just close this up, and that'll press against there to close up your gap. Now, once you have one of them good and gapped, you can do that same exact thing for the other 15, and then we can start installing these on the Challenger. So now we can swap out our spark plugs. Now, like I said before, we're gonna do this 1 spark plug at a time to make sure that we don't introduce any foreign objects into our cylinders. So we're gonna start out by taking a blowgun just to blow out anything that might be in the spark plug well. And then you're gonna take a 5/8 inch spark plug socket. You're gonna need a couple 3-inch extensions. We're gonna start out with the spark plug socket and 1 extension. You're gonna get it in the hole, and then you can throw your 2nd extension on. Now, once you got your socket on the spark plug and your extensions in place, you can throw your ratchet on the other side and break your spark plug free. Now we're gonna pop the ratchet off, twist it the rest of the way out by hand, and then we can start pulling it out and pull our first extension off so that we have enough clearance to get that out. And then we'll pop out that old spark plug and then get our new one, pop that protective cover off, slide our spark plug in, carefully slide that down into the hole, and then get our 2nd extension on. And then we'll thread that down into place until we can't turn it by hand anymore. And then you can grab your torque wrench, set to 20 foot-pounds, and torque that down to spec. You'll just go until you hear the click, pull your torque wrench off, pull your first extension off, and then you can go to the next spark plug. So get that in the hole, get your other extension on, pop your ratchet on there, and and break that spark plug free. Pop your extension off, slide your spark plug out, pop your new one in, take off the cap, slide that into the well, and then put your second extension on. And then thread that into place until it stops. Then once again, grab your torque wrench, 20 foot-pounds, tighten that down until it clicks. You can pop off your torque wrench, remove your first extension, and pull your socket out. Now once you have both of your spark plugs on your first cylinder installed and torqued to spec, you can slide your coil pack in, get that around the dipstick tube, and then press it down into place onto those spark plugs. Start threading your 2 bolts in by hand. And then take that 10mm swivel socket and tighten those bolts down. And then with your coil pack in, you can slide your connector back on, press it down until it clicks, and then press that red locking tab down into place. And now you can just repeat that exact same process for your remaining 7 cylinders. Now once you have all of your spark plugs and coil packs installed, you can reinstall your engine cover. We've got 2 grommets on each side that are going to line up to a couple studs. So we can just lay this down. We'll get it lined up with the back ones, and then just center up our oil cap for reference, and then press it down into place. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the 24-piece ignition kit for your 2009 to 19 5.7 liter Hemi Challenger. Thank you for watching, and for all things Challenger, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.